Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, and this is episode 48. So we've kicked off the new year here with season 2 of our Wild West Diversity live stream and podcast. If you're haven't seen the shows, if you weren't watching last year, you can always go back to our YouTube channel at Wild West Diversity, put that in, and you can find our channel there. Click on that subscribe button. I think on our side, it's a black button. Sometimes it's a red button, but when you go to the page on YouTube, you can subscribe and then you'll get notified when the next new video comes up. But we're here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we are sharing some of the history of the Western lifestyle, as well as talking to living legends who are keeping that lifestyle alive. And today, we really just wanted to wrap up. Last week, we told you about the historic Fort Worth Stock Show, the oldest indoor rodeo in the country. And they kicked off their stock show last weekend with the ranch rodeos and the Mexican rodeo, celebration of Mexico, and with the Jerry Diaz family. And then on Monday, we were just delighted to be there to honor Martin Luther King with our Cowboys of Color Rodeo. It was our 11th year. We've got a great relation with the Fort Worth Stock Show, and we see that continuing on for many years into the future. But I wanted to bring Russell Smith on. Russell's one of our other team members. He is always out at the rodeos. He's always talking to the Cowboys, videotaping, and we'll be sharing some of the footage that he and his crew shot this past week. So welcome to the show, Russell.
Hey, Liz. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate it so much. And Russell's my go-to guy. You know, he's always been helpful to me. We met, I guess, a few years ago when he came to his first rodeo at Oklahoma City. Tell us about that, Russell. What was that like, your very first Cowboys of Color Rodeo?
From that side of rodeo, it's definitely different. So to be able to go behind the scenes and actually see the business side of it instead of just working rodeos was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I think there was about 10,000 people in that Coliseum. So to do a live remote with 10,000 people, 2 phones, you know, it was exciting. The energy level in that Coliseum was just crazy.
Just crazy. And Fort Worth's like that too. Fort Worth's a little like that. You're going to see some of that footage. We'll be sharing some of that during Black History Month. We got Women's History Month coming up in March. And so that's it. You know, we want to share this Western lifestyle so that people really know. Because like you say, people in Texas, Oklahoma, and maybe a little bit in the Western states, you know, Colorado, Nevada, and Wyoming, Montana. But there are a lot of people all over the world that don't know anything about Black Cowboys and about rodeo.
That is definitely the truth. That is definitely the truth. We see it a lot, you know. I mean, somebody sees me riding a horse or something, I'm like, oh, Black people ride horses? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what planet you're on. But so being able to, you know, have Cleo as a mentor and work hand in hand with them to kind of keep the culture alive and educate people along the way is kind of one of the things I've always wanted to do. So I'm actually living my dream.
Yeah, that's great. And so you're living down south of Dallas, so you're kind of just outside of Austin there, and so bringing the kids up too, and that the kids came to the rodeo, and they always come, and they're there, so they're learning just by watching, just by seeing people. I think you feel like that's helping them get an education.
Most definitely, we'll teach them some skills that a lot of people don't know. My middle daughter, Roper. She actually interviewed a barrel racer and John. So that was her first time actually talking in front of the camera.
In front of the camera. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So John's one of our bareback riders, wasn't he? John Deuce, is that who we're talking about? Or is that?
Yeah, John. So he's a calf roper.
Calf roper, okay.
Yep.
And
calf roper that went to the finals and did really well at the finals, him and Shad and Corey.
Right.
So I think this is the second year that they've had 3 African Americans at
They've
the
had 3 guys
national
go.
final. Yep.
Yeah, and so these are kids that came up through Cowboys of Color. They rodeoed at college. Corey was the college champion, and Chad Mayfield out of New Mexico. His dad, a great calf roper that roped with Cleo for years and years. He's got Sylvester Mayfield, and they've got a daughter, a sister.
Shelby.
That Shelby that races too. She's a barrel racer, and we've talked about her on this show in the past as an up and comer. Her and Rachel, granddaughter. So once she has
Shelby,
she'll be coming back. Rachel will, I think. Oh, I lost him. He'll come back on here in just a second. But so anyway, the thing about the Fort Worth Stock Show is that history. All right, he's got it. Now we're back. Well, I was popping in and out a week or so ago. So this is called live streaming, and it's all live. And sometimes the technology works.
Oh, there we go.
Bounces you. So, but yeah. So what's your favorite? What's your favorite part of what's your favorite event? I guess be the first question, and then what's your favorite part of being around the rodeo and working with the rodeo?
Well, man, that's a tough one. Anything with the rope is one of my favorite events, but because I did some ranch bronc growing up, ranch bronc was my first passion, and I got a little bit smarter.
Well, that's what I told Charles. He's been doing some bareback riding or bronc riding, and I said, "Listen, you got to go calf rope because we can't afford for you to fall on your head. Get dumped on your head and do right. And he's already dislocated his shoulder, I think, but."
Yeah, that rough stock is hard on your body. So if I could do it over again, I probably would have roped more. But, we trained barrel horses growing up and did a bunch of play days and stuff like that, team rope, but never got a chance to calf rope. So that's on my bucket list too. So I think I'm going to hook up with some of these guys one day and go out and let them teach me and video and let everybody get a choke.
Well, like Bud was saying the other day, it's a Friday, Monday that they're out there roping every day. Just come on over to Mansfield any day you want. They're out there.
That'd be some good content. That'd be some good content.
And then I guess Charles and them, he's practicing down at the Cowboy Church, down south at Waxahachie, I guess, south of Dallas here. And so he practices over there on Thursday nights. So, there are places now that you can go and learn. Like when you were growing up, you just learned on the ranch, didn't you? I mean, you just were over at somebody's house.
Or we used to have little jackpots and things like that. But, we just, in my area, there was more barrel racers and team ropers. So that's kind of what we did. And the reason I got in the ranch bronc is because we just buy wild horses. And my mom would say, "Hey, jump on this wild horse." So you mean to tell me somebody's going to give me a check now? I can get on the wild horse and get paid.
I can get paid for doing this, for acting crazy and having fun. Yeah, for sure. Well, that is it. That is it. Well, what's different about Fort Worth that the other rodeos don't have? What is it? It's just all the other activity, or
the entertainment. I mean, the violinist or fiddle player or whatever you want to call him. He killed
outstanding,
it.
Wasn't he? Yeah,
he did a Chris Stapleton song, and it's just it's diverse. I mean, kind of hints to your name. Wild West Diversity is to be able to have that many cowboys and it be diverse and educate people, entertain them along the way is just, I think, what life's about.
Yeah, and that Dickies Arena, I mean, we used to be in Will Rogers with 6,500. Now all of a sudden we're in 17,000 seat facility. That's a whole different.
The energy in there. It's like even if you get a bad seat, you have a good seat.
Right.
You can see the Megatron, and you got a front row seat.
Yeah, because they've got all the computer and all the technology, so the big boards are running, and you get to see you get to see it live, and then you get to see the recorded version. They play it again, and
it's on the Cowboy Channel.
Yeah, so the Cowboy Channel running. I think Wrangler produces the show too, and so they basically film the whole thing. So you'll be able to go back, later in the year and find the Fort Worth Stock Show, and we'll obviously be posting some things here on Wild West Diversity because, like we say, Russell was there Monday with his crew, and they were interviewing the different cowboys and cowgirls, and we got a lot of important young people coming up, don't we?
Most definitely, and that's you can find that. I think we posted a couple of the stuff on the Cowboys of Color page. We will have some content for you. Lisa, my cousin, who took all the content, she does work a full-time job and a single mom. So,
Right.
you know, for her to take the time out to even come out and be my content person, I can't push her too hard.
Right. No, she's great. She's great. We appreciate her coming and, like you say, running the camera and then coming back and editing. It is a big job. So, you know, it's not easy. And even putting this show on every week, you know, we got Russ Johns there behind the scene running the tech for us, and you know, so it takes a lot of people and a lot of hands to make it all work. So,
man, hats off to Russ, because I did that when I started my radio show, and I did everything. If I had you back then, we would be doing pretty good. If I had both of y'all, if both of y'all would have just did that, and I wasn't trying to hide in a shed doing a radio show, we'd have been great.
Well, that's it. Well, 2023 is going to be our year, because we're gonna blow the doors off this thing. I mean, we really had a good kickoff with the Marlboro. You know, they came out and did this production on Cleo and them, and that's running on the Marlboro, the legacy for National Day of the Cowboy. Coming up this year, we're going to be having we're going to actually have a summer camp before the rodeo in Dallas. So the rodeo in Dallas is moved from Juneteenth to July. So it'll be during Texas Buffalo Soldier Month. It's the 100-year anniversary of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. And so all of that activity is going to be going on. And the Buffalo Soldier groups across Texas will be out at the parks, and they'll be celebrating that 100 years. And so we're going to do a camp for 7th and 8th graders where they're going to have to take that Western story. And then people like Russell are going to be there, and Coy and Alex, our fashion designer, who was there with us on Monday. You know, their kids are going to learn how to do something creative. They can write a poem or a song or a short book or a short film, or maybe they design some piece of clothing. And then we're going to create that over that week-long period that we're there with them. And then on the Saturday, you know, they'll get to come to the rodeo. We'll give them free tickets to come to the rodeo. So we're very excited to get that educational program back going, because we had it all set up to do and COVID hit. And of course, we had to cancel everything. So, you know, and that's been part of our problem with the rodeo, like you and I talked about before the show. You know, when they said 25%, you know, that's called bankruptcy. We can't put on a rodeo for 25% of the audience, you know, because it's just not financially feasible, as you know now, like you say, because people don't really have any idea, do they, what it takes to put the rodeo on. They think, I can just put you know, they put on a concert and they go, oh, I can put on a rodeo.
It's a lot more moving parts on the business side of rodeo. I mean, I keep bringing Cleo back up, but if it wasn't for Cleo, I wouldn't have understood either. So I remember talking to Cleo all hours of the night and just like, all right, well, maybe I don't want to do the business. Maybe I want to be a rodeo clown, or maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do the announcement. But the business side of rodeo is just, I mean, unless you go through it, you don't understand it.
Right. That's it. I mean, you know, you got animals, you got people, and neither one of them like to cooperate.
And then,
and you got insurance, and you got red dirt, and you got stock, and you got ambulance. It just goes on and on and on, you know. So
the Cowboys are different. The culture is kind of changing. So when you have that many personalities, you know, in a room or an arena, and I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it's hard even for the media people. You know, some people are good behind the camera, or they don't mind, but you know, you have to be kind of courteous, because some people are doing their rituals before they get on a bull or before they ride. You don't want to
they're mentally trying to get tough. Yeah.
Because they're athletes too, and they're getting their horses ready, and the horses are athletes. So a lot of people just see what they see in the arena. They don't understand that's two athletes with two different brains, and you got to make it work.
Right. Yeah. And like you say, it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of getting ready behind the scenes. You know, it's not like you just jump on the horse and ride out there.
You're right on that.
And especially for our rodeos, for Cowboys of Color, you know, it's called the Invitational Rodeo, because we want to know that the people that are participating have some knowledge and skill, because it can be dangerous, you know. we one year had somebody that swore up down, they'd rode horses all their life, and riding a horse by yourself with one or two other people is different than riding in the arena with 100 horses and 100 people. Yep. And then the grand entry got bucked off into the wall, and had to call the ambulance out, take them off. Luckily they were okay. But after that, we don't let people just ride in the grand entry anymore, unless they bring their own horse and come and they prove they got their trailer and their truck and they're set up.
Oh yeah.
And that's the other thing, and we've talked about it too, Russ, here on the show before. It's not inexpensive to be in a rodeo cowboy, is it, to go up down the road?
No, the times have changed. I mean, when Paul Taylor used to take us to rodeos, we could just jump in the truck and go down the road. But now, your truck, you're looking at $60,000 to $80,000. Your trailer, you're looking at about $100,000, and that's before you even get a good horse. If you're in an event that you need to compete with a good horse, you're looking at another $20,000, $30,000. So, I mean, just a rodeo, you're looking at $200,000, $250,000 just to get up and down the road, and you're still looking at entry fees.
Right. And then you got to pay to play. So you got to be about half crazy, right?
Definitely, pay to play.
You got to be about half crazy to do this thing, but people love it. We love it. It is a family thing. You come, you don't have to worry about your kids. I mean, your kids are going to be watched over and watched out for, and if they go down, nobody's going to snatch them away because somebody's going to be standing there that knows them.
Oh, that's
watching them, whether they're doing something good or something bad.
That's it. That's one of the things. That's one of the things I like about the rodeo there. The Cowboys of Color Rodeo. You have everybody's a family. I mean, Chelsea has watched my daughter Roper grow up since she was a baby. So I have pictures of Chelsea standing with Roper when she barely could walk, and now Roper's in middle school. So and John, I watched John grow up roping. Him and his brothers. So it's crazy to get to see some of these guys. Shad too. I think Shad's interview, he was 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah.
And now he's 3 years into the National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah.
So I always joke, it's like I get to see my little boys at the rodeo and they're all grown.
I know it. I know they hate me because that's what I do. I call them kids, like I got to talk, Robin was there, and I know you talked to Taylor last year. This is Robbie's kids, Cleo's other grandkids that are in sports. They're just not rodeoing right now. Robin's, she's the sports director up at Wichita Falls, and so she's
Taylor's
on the other side of the camera, and now Taylor's playing baseball, and so
me and Taylor will talk every now and then. I mean, he's pitching for the Rangers, so it's one of those deals. He's in the limelight. So you have to screen your phone calls by priority. So 1 or 2 calls a year from him, I'll take that priority.
Right, for sure. And so, and I'm very excited to see that he's including rodeo in his baseball camp. So he's doing a rodeo and baseball camp because, I think that's one of the reasons he's done so well is that discipline of rodeoing every weekend. When he was a little boy, he was out there every weekend, like you say, from the time he was 4 or 5 years old, up until he got into high school and decided he wanted to play a pitch, and play baseball instead. And he was going to go that route instead of the rodeo route. He was there every weekend.
Training from every angle for any sport is hard. But when you're in the Western culture or you're in the rodeo, not only do you have to make sure you're taking care of your body, you have to make sure you're taking care of your animal's body. And I think that's kind of ties into the stock show is stock shows are the same way. I mean, there's kids. My business partner is going down the road now with his sheep, but those kids are at that barn every day. So I think the stock show and the rodeo, putting those together and continue to educate people that would like to come up because, I didn't grow up doing this. It took me a while to get there. I think I started riding when I was 12 or 13. So, and I just caught the bug for it and fell in love with it, but it also has taught me discipline. I mean, I think that's why I'm able to have these businesses that I have because I have the discipline and the structure to do that. But I learned that from the work ethic of growing up in the Western culture.
And taking care of because you can't just leave animals out, to feed themselves.
You can leave them out, but they're not going to stay in the fence.
Right, that's right. Well, that's the thing. You got to take care of animals. I mean, especially if you've spent a lot of money for an animal. You You want to groom him. You want to be sure he's got his shots. You want to be sure he gets fed and watered, and and gets to run around in the pasture. You want to put him up in the barn at night because you don't want anything to happen to him. You don't want any wild animals to come up and get you. I mean, a lot of our people live out on property, near wooded areas, and so it's always a chance that something can happen to them, and that's why you got to check their feet and their legs and and all around to be sure that nothing happened to them overnight.
Please check their feet. When I was, let's say 2002, I started shoeing, and I shod for, I don't know, 15 years. So if you have a horse, pick your feet up. I mean, that's one thing if you don't do when your farrier gets there, he's not going to be too happy with you.
Right. So that's the thing about it. And we're going to do, Charles has been doing a little man on the ranch, like how to catch a horse, and he's going to be on with one of his farriers here in February or March. And because a lot of people don't know what that is. They don't even know what a farrier is. They don't know that that's a person that shoes horses or put shoes on horses or put horseshoes on the bottom of their horse's feet because they that's a tender spot and they got to have that covered. So
when I talk to people, I kind of talk real fast, so I tell them, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I shoot horses." First thing they would say is, "You shoot horses? And you shoot horses for a living?" I'm like, "No, I shoot them." So I mean, just some of the pun jokes that I hear along the way. Whatever I'm doing in my life is funny, but that one's always hello? Did I lose you? I think I lost you. Hello.
Disappeared. Now it just completely went away. That's only happened once before. Are you still there, Russ? You kind of muted, I think. You unmute yourself, Russell. So like we said, this is live video, and so sometimes things happen. Like my internet just bounced, and a while ago Russell's internet bounced, and, and so but we're gonna just jump back on and keep talking about things. So as we mentioned, the next rodeo we got for sure coming up is going to be in Dallas. This is at Fair Park. It's at the State Fair Coliseum there, and it'll be on July the 29th, and that's a Saturday. So Saturday night, we'll be having a camp. So if you've got kids that are in the 7th or 8th grade in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're going to be having that available. We'll have some scholarships for that, so we'll bring in some kids out. So if you can't afford to send your kid to camp, we'll make, and they want to come, we'll make arrangements. We'll figure out a way to get them there, won't we, Russell?
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this.
No, I know I bounced too. So it's not just you. It's just this crazy weather and crazy place we live in, I guess. I don't know. Everybody's online all the time now. And
being out in those small rural towns, it'll do it to you.
Right. Yeah, I forgot you're on the road, so you're traveling. But I mean, I'm in a stationary place and I still bounced off. But anyway, so we're going to have Russ come back on and tell us a little bit more about the Crawdaddy business. He's we call him Russ Crawdaddy Smith. We didn't put that on his name today, but that's the other business. So tell us a little bit. We got a couple minutes, but we'll bring you back to talk more about that.
Most definitely. I'll definitely be back. So what we do is, the name of my company is Louisiana Wild, and Russ T. Crawdaddy. So what I do is I do caterings for all over Texas, pretty much.
Yeah, all over Texas.
So we do anywhere from 15 to 18,000 pounds of crawfish a week. And I cater for people like Tito's Vodka, celebrities like Coffee Anderson, to big festivals where we do 15,000 pound caterings.
Wow. So, yeah.
That's another
15 pounds of crawfish.
15,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds. Oh my gosh. So
yeah, we stay moving with that for sure. And that only runs 6 months out the year, and it keeps us busy. I mean, they can find us at Louisiana Wild, Facebook, Instagram, or they can check out the website, louisianawild.com, find out what public events we're going to be at, and we're normally in the Austin area, but I go to Seguin. I mean, we travel
Right.
wherever we can, we travel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and we may see if I guess will we be too late? July be too late for the crawdaddy season? That'd be about the end of it, won't it?
Yeah, crawfish season ends about June-ish, July
Oh,
4th sometimes. So it just
yeah.
gets too hot. It's way too hot out there for number
Right.
one. You don't want to be eating spicy crawfish when it's 102 degrees. You're
Right,
already going to
right.
be sweating, but the shells actually get harder on the crawfish, and
Uh-huh.
they taste a little bit different just because they go dig deeper down in the ground so they can stay
Right,
moist.
cooler. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to the footage that we're going to be showing here. We'll be dropping some footage for the Fort Worth Stock Show. Some of this footage that Russ and his crew shot for us this past week on Monday. We tried to, grab some of these kids that are coming up. So we want to be sharing with you some of these future living legends. We've talked about a couple of them: Shad Mayfield, Corey Solomon. There's a bunch of others, John, and so we've got Brittany Amos. Her mother and her brother. She's got a twin brother. They grew up rodeoing with us, and their mother actually worked for us in the secretary's office for years. And so we've got those kids that'll be coming back on. We'll be interviewing and talking to them about their rodeo life. We'll be having Rob.
We definitely got to get the Goodmans on, man. That interview that we did with his granddaughter and my daughter, it kind of just touched home. It was two young girls
Yeah.
that are both into kind of getting rodeo, and to me, I think that's what we should aim for, is to try to let those kids know that we hear them.
Right,
so
right, and
it
let
encourages
them tell their stories, yeah, so that they
exactly.
can, so they'll be able to tell it when somebody asks them about it, and they'll be the next person that somebody sticks a microphone in their face. You got to give them a chance.
Pass the torch, but pass it early.
Right. For sure, that's it for sure. So anyway, well, Russ, I appreciate you jumping on and talking, and I appreciate you coming up on Monday and bringing all your folks. And yeah, you had a young man with you. What was he? What did he think about it? Tell me about him.
His name is Chandler. He's
Uh-huh.
entrepreneur. He's a barber out there in Copperas Cove, Texas. Never
Uh-huh.
been to a rodeo before. So, man, he would not stop talking about it. I mean, and that's what I like. That's what I love about the rodeos, getting people that never been there and getting them to
Yeah.
experience it. And then once they go to another rodeo, they have something to compare to.
Right.
So being able to take them to a Cowboys of Color Rodeo and then take them out to, a PRCA sanctioned rodeo, or maybe just your local city rodeos or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I guess I feed off their energy.
Right.
He was just so excited. Got to put his clothes on. He went and bought boots, got a hat,
right.
And it's like, this is what life is about. This is what I like doing.
Yep, it was so fun. Yeah, so very nice young man, and I caught him. I caught him upstairs after y'all been there. I guess we've been there about an hour and a half. It took a couple hours, and I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "Man, it's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad I came. I almost didn't come, but I'm so glad I came." So,
and that's what I like to do. If I can grab one or two to three people that's never been to a rodeo, that now they can go back to their community and they can tell about their experience. Not only does that encourage people to come to the rodeo, but it also encourages people to look into more of that history. Like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be, man, I didn't know there was that many black people at a rodeo.
Right, that's right. I didn't know there were that many black people that rode horses. They went to the rodeo and cowboys. Well, that's it, and when we tell people we got 200 or 300 contestants, they just fall over. And obviously
amazing.
not all of our cowboys are black, because we have Hispanic cowboys, and we have even have an Asian barrel racer, but we have Native American barrel racers, Native American bull riders too out of Oklahoma, and so and other places across the country. But we also have some from Central and South America that come up, and they love that rodeo lifestyle too, and they have that Mexican charro. And but anyway, well, Russell, we're at our time. I mean, it goes so fast, but I appreciate you jumping on today. I appreciate you always being willing to step up when we need something for Cowboys of Color. You're a part of our management team, and we appreciate you so much. And like you say, every opportunity we can to help you and promote the Louisiana Wild. Tell us about that. We'll be doing that. You send us a commercial and we'll tag that to the back of these videos here. So maybe we can get the word out for you a little bit more as well. And check us out. We're at wildwestdiversity.com. You can sign up for our newsletter there. We're here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, telling you these rarely and untold stories of multicultural cowboys. And I guess, Russell, if you had one last thing you want to share with our viewers and our listeners, what would that be?
Well, I could say anything, man. Just continue to entertain, educate, and motivate. See y'all down the road.
All righty. Thanks, Value. See you on the trail. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Liz Lawless, your host for Wild West Diversity, where we tell the rarely and untold stories of multicultural contributions to the settling of the American Wild West. Each Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be sharing a historical legend and a living legend. Someone from history and someone living that Western lifestyle today, keeping it alive for the future generation. We hope you'll join us on Thursday. If not, we'll see you on the trail.